While the nation was busy mourning the death of Raila Amolo Odinga, the ODM leader and the former Prime Minister of Kenya, President William Samoei Ruto assented to 8 bills into an act of law. What bills are they? I want to name them one by one. One was the Air Passenger Service Bill of 2025, which changes air travel. For instance, it has introduced a fee of an increment of $50 for international flights and also 600 Kenyan shillings for local flights, and says that the money will be shared between the Tourism Fund and Weather Department. Two, we have the privatization bill that changes how the government sells its shares in state-owned companies and now removes that power from Parliament's approval and gives the Treasury the power to decide on how the government sells its shares. Three, we have Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Amendment Bill of 2024. This one is about the scam calls, SIM swap fraud, fake online investments, which attracts a fine of 20 million and also a jail term of 10 years for people who send messages to cause fear or violence offense. Now, be very careful with the last part. 10 years for people who send messages to cause fear or violence offense. So, like if you write something online that to the government it deems this will cause violence, then you might end up in jail for 10 years. This was what was lacking. That is why even everything that was being done online during the Reject Finance Bill through to this moment, you saw the pictures that were being made. Now, that one, you will be jailed for 10 years. Could this be a curtail of the freedom that is provided by the Constitution of Expression? Anyway, let's wait and see. 4. Virtual Asset Service Providers Bill, which introduces the regulation in crypto trading and exchange platforms, which require those platforms to register and make the policies that will make users desist from money laundering. But does the government understand that even the bigger part of money laundering is not happening in the crypto business? It's happening in these local businesses like the clubs and lounges that are being opened every day and night. Then after 2, 3, 4, 1 month, they are closed down. And number 5, we have National Land Commission Amendment Bill of 2023, which allow the commission to review past land allocations, manage compensation to those affected by government projects, and handle land disputes. Now, apart from that, we also have the National Land Commission Amendment Bill of 2024, which updates the land ownership and registration rules. When buying land, you also need to confirm the identity of the seller through the digital land registry, and also allows land transactions to be done electronically, hence reducing fraud and fake titles. At number 7, we have the National Police Service Commission Amendment Bill of 2024. This changes how police officers are managed, gives the Inspector General more say and more power on promotions, transferring officers, and also recruitment, while the commission will handle the discipline part and welfare matters of the police. How has it been for those who know this bill? Because giving a single person, the Inspector General, powers of promotion, it means this will also even curtail the police from expressing. We saw in recent times, police were coming out to air out their grievances. What if these will also worsen the situation, whereby if you critique whatever bad thing you see in the service, then you are transferred into a more dangerous area? Anyway, let us leave it at that. We also have a Wildlife Conservation and Management Bill of 2023, which is focusing on wildlife and compensation of victims of wildlife attacks. It also increases the fine of wildlife crimes like poaching and all that kind of stuff, then sets clear rules for compensation of these victims of wildlife attacks. Those are the 8 bills that President William Samoei Ruto assented to as you were mourning and before the state could announce the death of Raila Amolo Odinga. This is the point whereby I tell you, nothing happens by default. Remember when I used to tell you that whatever you are being given at face value, don't look it at that. And nothing happens by default in government. Everything is by design. Could it mean that Odinga was long dead, so that government will use that wind and confusion to pass these bills? And by the way, I would like to be educated on this. At what specific moment do these members of parliament meet to pass these bills without our knowledge? The light is too much in my eyes. I beg to reduce it a little bit, kindly. At what specific time does the MPs sit to pass these bills? I mean, a lot is happening in the nation. To an extent, we can't even know that some bills are being passed in parliament. It was a rumor about this computer misuse and cyber crimes amendment bill, and now it is an act of law. It is no longer an amendment bill, and the president assented to them all. So it was just a design, it was not a timing. You saw even the ODM delayed in announcing, and to them they gave a valid reason, because Raila was not just an ODM leader but also a state leader. Anyway, now I've been vindicated on this. Like I always say, nothing happens by default. Everything is by a design. And by President William Samoei Ruto choosing this specific time to assent to these bills, it is something that raises more questions than answers. Could it be that Raila Amolo Odinga had passed earlier on, giving the wind and rumors of his ill health around the nation as the government prepares all of these? This is what I was talking that is beneath the carpet. Now, I am happy with let me say 5 of these bills, but 3 of these bills I'm not comfortable with them. This is the National Police Service Commission Amendment Bill of 2024, which changes how police officers are managed, which gives the IG more power in promotions, transferring officers and recruitment. These will make them not have that power to speak for themselves. Whenever they have grievances, they'll be so afraid to do that because the fear of transfers. Another thing is about the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Act. Said all the is good in terms of regulating or these issues of scam calls, SIM swap fraud, fake online investment, but the jail term of 10 years for people who send messages to cause fear or violence offense, these will be misused. Tutafute mawakili. The privatization bill. How do members of parliament vote to make themselves be powerless by some percentage? Because this now removes parliament approval and gives the treasury the power to see how state sells its shares. Something is amiss. Anyway, what's your take on this? Give me your take in the comment section below. If you love content of this nature and you're watching from my YouTube channel, kindly subscribe and press the notification button, so anytime that we are live or we upload content of this nature, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Ahmed Khalid is my name for the Unscripted Talks here in Dab Radio. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Timba kali za Afrika, Dab Radio ndio mpango mzima.